The Galactic Council had a very strict policy about discussing the incident, which was the polite way of referring to the time they thought they had wiped out humanity, thought being the key word. 2,500 years ago, the war had been messy, costly, and, most importantly, a colossal pain in the galactic backside. The humans had been relentless, throwing ships, soldiers, and absolutely unhinged last stands at the enemy. But in the end, their homeworld was nothing but space dust. No survivors, no colonies, no annoying, overly aggressive, impossible to kill primates left. Or so they believed. Then, last month, a border patrol fleet went silent. No distress calls, no wreckage, just gone. Then a military station vanished. Entire starships turned off like someone had pulled the cosmic plug. And now, the worst part, a transmission sent in an ancient, long-dead human dialect. A message so simple, so blunt, it sent a chill through the council chamber. We're back. High Chancellor Raoul Zahn felt a very undignified shiver run through his 12-jointed spine. The chamber was in chaos, officials shouting over one another, scrambling for answers. It had to be a hoax, a prank, a rogue AI. Because the alternative, the idea that humans had somehow survived and were now technologically advanced enough to start picking off council fleets one by one, was a nightmare wrapped in a horror story dipped in absolute disaster. What do we know? He asked, trying to keep his voice from shaking. A nervous intelligence officer pulled up a star chart. The attacks are coordinated, strategic. Whoever they are, they know our weak points. They're hitting supply lines, disrupting logistics, and now... He gulped. They're sending messages. The Chancellor's eyes narrowed. What kind of messages? The officer swallowed hard. No negotiations, no warnings, just consequences. A hush fell over the room, because that was exactly the kind of thing humanity would say before introducing your planet to the concept of high-velocity orbital debris. We need to open diplomatic channels, someone stammered. We need to find out where the hell they came from, barked Admiral Vorlix, the one person who still thought a military solution was possible. He turned to the intelligence officer. Do we have any idea who's leading them? The officer hesitated before bringing up a grainy image from a destroyed patrol drone. The council members leaned in. The picture showed a battle-scarred human standing aboard a warship, arms crossed, staring into the camera like he was personally judging their entire species. His name was tagged in the database, Commander Elias Voss. He should not exist. The database had him listed as dead, a casualty of Earth's destruction. And yet, here he was, looking very much alive and very, very pissed off. The image was bad enough, but it was the attached transmission that made everyone's blood run cold. Voss had sent coordinates, a set of numbers that marked the location of the Council's most important military hub. He wasn't hiding, he wasn't running, he was inviting them to try and stop him, and the last line of his message, "You have 3 days." The Galactic Council had seen bad days before. Trade wars, failed peace talks, the occasional pirate insurrection. But today? Today was a different kind of bad. The kind of bad that made even the most self-assured bureaucrat rethink all their life choices, starting with their decision to show up to work that morning. The council chamber, usually a place of drawn-out debates over tariffs and mining rights, was now flooded with panicked voices as screens lit up with warnings in every major galactic language. Unidentified fleet detected, extreme velocity, direct course for the core systems. The security feed flickered, struggling to process what it was seeing, and then stabilized, revealing a sight that no one in that room would ever forget. A fleet, no, the fleet, unmistakable, massive, and so blatantly human in design that it made even the most skeptical diplomats nearly void their digestive tracts on the spot. The ships were unlike anything recorded in modern history, yet unmistakably Terran, angular, brutalist, built for function over form, matte black hulls, no identifying markings, no broadcasted IFF signals. They weren't coming to talk. They weren't coming to negotiate. They weren't even bothering to announce their return. The Zilari Chancellor's throat clicked in an involuntary gulp. This must be a mistake, he stammered, his voice a weak attempt at optimism. Perhaps a lost fleet, some fringe colony. His words died as the lead ship came into full view on the screen, its name written in bold, defiant human script across the hull. E.S. as Retribution. The room went silent. No one moved. No one breathed, because they all knew what that name meant, and worse, they knew what was coming next. The comms officer, trembling, activated the emergency diplomatic channel, broadcasting in every frequency known to civilized space. Unidentified fleet, this is the Galactic Council, he began, voice cracking like dry parchment. You are entering protected core space. Identify yourselves immediately, state your purpose, and... The message cut out, not by jamming or interference, but by deliberate override. A new voice filled the chamber, deep, calm, and laced with something that sent a shiver through every being present. Not anger, not vengeance, certainty. We are humanity, the voice declared, each word delivered with the weight of an executioner's axe, and we have come to collect. Silence. Then, as if the galaxy itself had taken a deep breath in anticipation, the first shots were fired. The council chamber's main viewport lit up with a sight that no one, no historian, no war strategist, no military tactician had ever prepared for. The human fleet didn't attack. They executed. Entire defense stations were deleted in microseconds, not bombed, not invaded, just turned off. One moment, they were there. The next, they were gone, as if some cosmic hand had simply reached into the void and plucked them from reality. Planetary shields, once considered impenetrable, flickered out like cheap discount lighting. The most advanced warships the Galactic had built were dead in space before their captains could even react. Their systems hijacked, overridden, and forcefully shut down like an unpaid streaming subscription. This isn't possible, one of the counselors whispered, clutching at his chest as he watched their entire naval infrastructure collapse in real time. They shouldn't even exist. The transmission returned, but this time, it wasn't just audio. A face, human, cold, unflinching. The kind of expression worn by someone who wasn't here for revenge, but for justice. You took everything from us, the human commander stated, voice devoid of any emotion. You signed our death warrant over a trade dispute. You erased our history, our homes, our people. You thought we were gone. He leaned in, his expression hardening into something that sent a primal ancient terror through the council members' bones. You were wrong. The transmission cut, and with it, the first planet in the core systems went dark. No explosions, no screams, just silence. The kind of silence that precedes a storm that no one, not even the gods, could stop. The silence in the Galactic High Command was absolute. The last transmission from their outer defenses had been cut off mid-sentence, replaced with a single data packet. No threats, no demands, just coordinates. Their homeworld's capital, that was all. Grand Strategist Vorik, the most decorated military mind in Galactic history, felt his throat tighten as he realized the truth. This wasn't an attack. This was an execution. And then the planetary alarms started blaring. Every screen in the war room flickered, showing live orbital footage. The human fleet had arrived. Hundreds of warships, each one a monolithic engine of destruction, descended from the void like the vengeful fists of a forgotten god. No formations, no unnecessary maneuvers, just a slow, inevitable march toward the surface. The Galactic's planetary shields activated automatically, their defenses scrambling to lock onto targets. But the moment the first plasma turrets aimed at a human warship, the system shut down. Not exploded, not disabled, just gone, deleted, like an afterthought. Vorik's hands trembled as he realized that humanity hadn't just beaten their systems, they had rewritten them. He turned to his officers. Send a transmission. Tell them we surrender. A comms officer was already on it, their voice shaking as they transmitted on every available frequency. This is the Galactic High Command. The message cut off. Not jammed, not blocked. Ignored. The feed flickered again. This time, it was the human fleet commander, a grim-faced woman with the kind of expression that made it clear she had no time for diplomacy. Surrender? she echoed, arching a brow like it was the dumbest thing she'd ever heard. Surrender is what you do when there's a war. This isn't a war. This is a system update. Vorik swallowed. We didn't know what we were doing, he stammered. We didn't realize what humanity was capable of. That, the commander interrupted coldly, is not our problem. The fleet kept descending. The skies turned black with warships. For the first time in their history, the Zalari understood what powerlessness felt like. Cities went dark. Orbital defense platforms crumbled into free fall. Communication networks vanished. In real time, their entire civilization was being switched off. The humans weren't just destroying them, they were erasing them. A single, chilling message appeared on every screen. Connection terminated. And then, nothing. The human fleet stopped. Hovering just above the Zalari homeworld, a colossal monument of unstoppable force, waiting, watching. The sheer psychological torment of it was worse than any weapon. The humans had already won. They had nothing left to prove. And that's when the final message arrived. Vorik read it once, twice, his mind struggling to accept the implications. There was no demand, no cruel monologue, just one last choice. Your species no longer exists as an empire. You may choose forced extinction or forced relocation. You have 10 minutes. And with that, the transmission ended. The Zalari people, once conquerors, once rulers of hundreds of star systems, were now a footnote in galactic history. Not wiped out, not enslaved, just deleted. Vorik collapsed into his seat, staring at the ruins of everything they had built. Humanity hadn't just won, they had turned them off. And the galaxy had been given its warning. Thanks so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments if you like these kind of videos. Leave me a like, and don't forget to subscribe for more sci-fi adventures.